Okay guys, so today I'm going to make this video be about whether or not you need an assistant for a wedding. The short answer is sometimes, or in my case, yes and no. So I'll tell you why though. This is the getting ready. All my shots are really tight because of the clutter. Okay, so I couldn't bust out with my 35. I mean, I could have, but you really don't want to showcase any of that stuff, and there's stuff everywhere. So yeah, I got more shots, wide shots, this and that, but unfortunately I don't have GoPro footage of that. So I'm only going to show you a little bit about this part of the day, because the truth is I want to make sure that I touch on the main subject, which is whether or not you need an assistant. And the truth is, for this part of the day, I do not. I don't need an assistant. It comes in handy. You know, they can bend down and get a gear for you. They can get you the things that are over there in that room, help me carry their details over here. But the truth is, that's not really something necessary. And in the beginning of the day, you should be fresh and ready to work as a photographer. So you really don't need anybody handing you all these things. It does help, but it's not necessary. So when do you need an assistant, or when do I need an assistant? Well, keep watching and I'll get to that. Whenever I do have an assistant, the part that involves the ceremony, which, you know, in this case today is a Catholic church, which I'll get to as well, because this Catholic church was by far my least favorite to work at, and this lady is being super strict about this and that, which is crazy because sometimes you talk to the priest and they're totally chill, so cool about yeah, go over there, take pictures. You know, I know not to be a nuisance. I know not to cross the sanctuary. I know not to go across people's view. You gotta be respectful. And she must have dealt with some photographers that were not respectful, because I'm getting run down on her rules, and I'm sure it's her rules, not the priest or the church itself. So one of the spots, one of the things that happened here is that I had to be here in the middle to get these walking in shots, which you can see my settings here. I have my shutter speed at 1/250. They're not actually walking that fast, but I'm doing it because I want to make sure I don't have any motion blur, okay? My focusing is right down the middle, so I get the shots. This actually turned out to be okay for me though, because typically I'm at the front getting them as they walk in. But this actually isn't bad, because what happens is I got to get pictures from an angle. And if you notice that door open, right when it was open, it was flooding it with light so into the church. So if you were right down the middle, you would have this situation where the light is really bright behind them, really backlit. But when you're at an angle, you're able to use something dark as the backdrop, which is the church itself, and it looks nice. The other part that worked out here is that I'm able to get her walking in, but I'm also able to get him and his reactions with the 70-200. I normally would get his reactions anyway, but some of these shots are a little unique, and that you can only get being down the middle, like her walking in, sure, but like that, and then that's not something I normally would get. So this part was difficult though. This is what made this church kind of suck, I think, as far as photography goes. So if any of you are thinking to get married at a Catholic church, check to see how you're going to be positioned, because if you're going to have your backs to everybody for like 80% of the wedding, well, you should know that's not good for photography, because unless you want pictures of your back, that's what you're going to get. So my assistant is basically here just kind of watching me work. They're not photographers, my assistant. He's a kid that I hired. He's an 18-year-old kid that is big and strong and is able to carry my bags, and it saves my back a little bit. So I appreciate that. Because I'm not able to take photos of the bride and groom as much because their backs are turned to me, I'm just taking this opportunity to get photos of everybody else, which is watching. What else could I do, right? You can't just take a million pictures of them having their backs to you. When they turn towards each other is when I jump into action. So, you go to town on that and you take a whole lot of pictures. You got to move around, take some pictures from different angles, like down the middle. I usually go all the way back, or at least as far back as the last person is sitting, so that I can get some of these shots. The church part really actually is I don't want to say boring, but I'm not religious, so yeah, I can say boring. It's boring. It's a lot of the same stuff that happens. And you could take like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures, but it's basically them sitting there listening, or the priest talking. So how many pictures like that can you get? By the way, this is another wedding that I shot at the tail end of the COVID lockdown. So that's why you see masks. So whenever something does happen, they get on their knees, they exchange vows, which they don't do at a wedding Catholic ceremony actually. But when they put that thing around them, when things like that happen, you jump into action and you get it, because the actions happening in front of you are a little bit more interesting than them just looking at the priest talk, right? So you got to make sure you get those shots. I'm really not going to get into detail about the church. The next part is the portraits, which also is very short. I really think that you would want to watch this video, but especially part 2 that's coming soon, because that one has a lot of flash photography, and you don't want to miss that, because that's when I truly need an assistant. All right, when I tell you to, I want you to kiss her in the cheek, dude, and you're gonna look at me, okay? But look at each other first. All right, give me a sec. All right, go for it. Smile, there we go. Keep that up with the kisses. There you go. Oh shit, it's really cold and I don't have a jacket. There we go. Maybe you can hold her bouquet. And then turn your body a little this way, turn your body a little this way, and then just kind of look back at each other, okay? Perfect. Stay like that. Good. Do it again. Let go of it first, though. And when I tell you to, you're going to pick it up and kiss. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let me. Perfect. Look at me again. Let me get a couple more. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Throw it up, Andrew. Oh, you can do better than that. 1, 2, and 3. You know what? I messed up. One more time. Give me a sec. Oh, I see. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. One more time, kissing. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, see? Perfect. Perfect. Alright, now you guys, I'm gonna join you for a little threes company. Okay. Get together. Help me with the veil, dude. Bring it over her head. Like, go on that side. We're gonna get really intimate right now. Oh. Ay, I can't. You're right, it is heavy, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like I literally dropped it a couple times. Okay.
I could walk someone with that.
Alright, dude, you're gonna help me? Andrew? I'm gonna join them a little bit here, and then you're gonna help me kind of hold it out. There we go. Just right there. Alright, keep it. Get close like you're gonna kiss. And then look over here, cheek to cheek. Kiss him in the cheek because he's so cute. Look at him. Hey, move it this way, Andrew. This part right here, this bottom part. Now kiss him again. Good. Now you kiss her, dude. Good. Now hold on, okay?
Okay.
It's easier with one hand, with two hands. Hold on. There we go. All right, first look at each other. Kiss him on the cheek. Good. Now you kiss her, dude. Now both of you look over here. And let go of it, Andrew. There are various little things that happen throughout this part of the day that would make it easier to have an assistant, namely just carrying your stuff. But the truth is, I've done hundreds, I think at this point, weddings without an assistant. So I don't need an assistant for this part. It does make it easier. Some of you probably never really work with an assistant. And normally I don't either. But I have to admit, the way that I photograph with my flash, having an assistant does help. A lot of you will use bounce flash and will use something kind of easy like that, and you probably don't need an assistant at all. But I have my assistant carrying my flash, moving around like a moving light stand, and nobody's gonna trip on the light stand because he's holding it. And that's when I need an assistant. So if I could hire an assistant to meet me at the reception, that would be ideal. It doesn't work like that though. They come with you or they don't. And this day I chose to have Andrew come with me. During the portrait part of the day, I don't usually use flash here unless I need to. So I don't call myself a natural light photographer, but I'm not scared of flash. I can use it whenever I need to, whenever I want to. Right here, finally, I find the use for my light. So I have Andrew come and put it towards the right-hand side just to give it a little bit of fill light. It wasn't actually necessary, but I took a few pictures and realized I could use a little pop of light, but I use it in such a way that you won't see the flash overpower anything. It really is just a kiss of light, and I really like how it looks. And sometimes I do have the light overpower the sun. Those are more dramatic kinds of shots, but I generally prefer the more natural feel. So even though I am using a flash, I really don't think that you could tell by these pictures. Stay tuned for part 2, because that's going to be the part where the answer to the question is yes, you can use an assistant for this part if you decide to shoot the way that I shoot, which I think you should consider because it looks really good and it's better than bounce flash.